Hey y'all, it is Lucca and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another speed build in The Sims 4. Today I am back in my base game only save file and I am building in the beautiful world of Oasis Springs. I am building on the Rattlesnake Juice lot here in kind of the town quote unquote district of Oasis Springs. We are building a base game only motel. Now, this is inspired by the Rosebud Motel in Schitt's Creek. If you have not seen Schitt's Creek yet, I highly recommend watching that show. It's very, very good. But yeah, this is just a 7-room motel, and so there's kind of a variety of different kinds of rooms, but I made them all about the same style. Here in the beginning, I was just planning out the rough kind of layout of what one of the the motel rooms would look like. It does kind of evolve and change slightly over time, but this is kind of just like the general size and layout. This first one I was working on was for 2 single beds, but I also do build some. This next one here is going to be with a double bed. I did make some of these adjoining rooms as well, hence the Schitt's Creek inspiration, because if you haven't seen Schitt's Creek, it's about this rich family that basically there's something happens with some accounting, taxes nonsense, and they lose pretty much everything. So they, as a joke, the dad had bought his son this town as like a joke, as a present, and they completely forgot about it. And so whenever they lost all of their assets, the town was the one thing that they did not lose because they didn't care about it. So they came here to stay, and since they owned the town, the people, was like, okay, you can stay in the motel if you want. I mean, that's pretty much all that you're gonna have for now. They live in this motel for so long. I'm telling you, it's so long they live in this motel, and I don't even know. I haven't finished the show. I got through like halfway through the last season and just didn't finish it because I was upset because I didn't want it to end. But yeah, that is the inspiration for this build, and specifically the inspiration for these 2 adjoining rooms because John and Moira, they have their bedroom, their room that is adjoined to the quote-unquote kids bedroom, David and Alexis. They are not children by any means. They are in their 30s. But yes, here we are working on that, and I kind of have the rough layout and everything kind of figured out. Now here I am just trying to figure out like how I want things. Do I need to make some changes? Do I want to kind of, give some character to any of these rooms yet? I wasn't entirely sure yet, but I went ahead and did like a little check-in kind of office / lobby space here. I wanted it to be a fun shape, but initially I was planning on that little corner space to be like a different kind of place. Like maybe that would be like an apartment or a room, or maybe even like a bar or something. I eventually just kind of extend this office space and make that like a back room kind of, office area for the motel. But yeah, it is a 7-room motel, I believe, and 2 floors, base game only. It's not going to be a functional motel, of course. This is the base game. I did make it a generic lot, so this is really more for storytelling. You could also maybe turn these into apartments if you have the For Rent expansion pack. That would actually be really fun to renovate this into some small like little studio apartments maybe. I could see that working really well actually, especially here because I really liked building on this lot too because it kind of looks like a place for a motel. There's like the water there, and like there's lots of like a little attraction spaces that you could do. I would build maybe a museum on this little street, a restaurant if you have dine out. There's a lot you could do, but of course, again, we are building with the base game. So there's still more you can do with this though. You could build a library, a gym, you could do all the typical things. I just really like the idea of there being a motel here because it just adds, a nice level of storytelling here. If you're one of those like simmers that, does like maybe like Tumblr stories, or, just screenshots, or maybe you're just trying to have your own story that you're playing yourself. You could, maybe have your Sims come stay here at the motel, and, maybe, this could even be included in if you have like a drifter challenge or a rags to riches, or, what have you. I really need to get better about editing out my pauses. But yeah, I wanted this front lobby space to be pretty, just like, generic, a little place to walk up and check in, and then, a place to kind of sit and maybe get some coffee. I did also include like some bathroom spaces and a little office-y kind of space in the back as well, for maybe like the management to kind of, do their office-y things, and then also like a little break space as well for them, so that they can like, take a break and, just chill back there. Those one desks that came with, it's not really a desk, it's like a reception desk that came with Get to Work, would have been really, really nice here. But I kind of just made my own using the base game counters. I basically just took 2 of the island counters in the middle and just like flipped them around so that you could have them facing the other way. I thought that was kind of, good. I thought that worked. I will say initially with this speed build as well, this build goes through a little bit of some rigmarole. I kind of bounce around with, colors and ideas and just everything a lot. I get super, super, super indecisive with it. So just bear with me. I will leave most of it in here, of course, because I just want to, show the different processes and stuff. I really liked how this flooring looked initially, but I still think this looks good, but it doesn't really fit the vibe of the motel that I was going for, because to be honest, it was a little too colorful, a little too bright. It was a little too much. It didn't really feel very realistic to me. And that is what this base game save file is all about, is realism. So I do tone it down significantly, and I really like the end result. But for now, we're just going to be looking at a lot of blues and oranges that just kind of clash way too much. But yeah, you can kind of see the idea here. There's like a little reception area, the little, kind of, spot there, which I do get rid of like the microwave and the refrigerator. I thought that was kind of weird to just have in a lobby, but I wanted to decorate this little front space as well, with just like a lot of clutter that would, just like a little book there you can write your like thoughts in about the motel, and like just some little knickknacks, and just kind of make it look a little bit lived in and used. And this is whenever I realized, I'm like, okay, I definitely want there to just be some kind of wood flooring. I play around with, designs and mix and match the different wood tones and the styles, and just, yeah, I don't end up using this kind of, layout for the flooring. I just keep it just a simple flooring. It's just sometimes you try too hard, and then you realize it's just too much. So you got to just tone it back just a little bit. But yeah, I think this came together pretty well. I think that if I was to build this kind of lot again, I would definitely want to use the Get to Work expansion pack, because I can see a lot of use from that, surprisingly. Like some filing cabinets. There's like these little cute filing cabinets that it came with. The reception desk, of course. I feel like for rent would be really handy too for certain things. I don't know. I wish we could have like motels or hotels or something in The Sims 4. That would be so fun. I know that that's a pretty complicated thing, because I remember we had it in, didn't we have something similar, if not the same, in Sims 3? When it came to Island Paradise. I didn't play with that pack very much because it did not run very well on my computer whenever I was like a Sims 3 girly, but I don't know. Well, it's just pretend here in this case, I guess, and it works. But yeah, I like the way this little space looks. I think I do make some minor adjustments later on. I'm not entirely sure. Let me look at my little screenies. I don't remember at all, I'm going to be honest with you. But no, yeah, this is essentially how it looks. I do move it back a bit because I realized it was just a little too far forward, and there was just too much space back there, and it was a little awkward and just weird, and I just make some adjustments, but it's basically finished. It's in a nutshell done. I just kind of decide to add an extra bathroom, and then I think I just put in like a picnic table out back and some like, garbage cans and stuff just to kind of make it look a little bit more, usable and realistic. And just like, I was just thinking, I was like, what do you see behind a building? It's a picnic table for the workers to rest, which, how many workers are going to be working here at the motel? I'm not sure. I would say maybe 2, maybe 3 at the most. One person maybe does the cleaning, or maybe 2 people do the cleaning. Maybe they take turns, and sometimes they will work the front desk. And then also there's the person that maybe runs it. Maybe they do like the financial side. Maybe they just deal with the bookings. I don't really know. I don't know how a motel works, clearly, because in Schitt's Creek, it's literally just Stevie. It's just Stevie. And then also later on, of course, John, he jumps in and, takes over the motel with her. And then it's a whole thing. It's actually called the Rosebud Motel, but that's later on. It's not the full, that's not what it was from the beginning. It was later on in the series when, which if you haven't seen it, it's not really a major spoiler or anything, but John just eventually kind of partners up with her to kind of take over the motel, so that, he has a business to run, because that's his calling in life, is to be a businessman. Yeah, here you can see I copied some of the rooms from downstairs, moved them upstairs because I was just like, they're going to be the same shape. However, this one was a little weird. There was like the 7th room, and that one was a little bit tricky because the way that the building was shaping up, it would have been a little different. So I actually made that one a little bit different. I made it a little smaller. I just kind of changed up the shape. I actually thought maybe this one could be either like a permanent residence for maybe someone, or it could be this room is for maybe the person who runs the motel or something like that. I don't know, some kind of story. I feel like if you had the For Rent expansion pack, you could also have maybe a sim. I don't know if you can actually have your sim live in a lot that they rent out also. Maybe not, but maybe you could have the sim, say if you're doing For Rent and all of these rooms are occupied, maybe this one that's smallest can be like maybe the maintenance guy or something like that. Maybe that's just another bit of imagination and storytelling, but I don't know. That's just kind of what I thought. I thought maybe this one was a bit more of a permanent residence. I was liking the shape a lot. I really, really was liking the shape here. It did take some adjustments and finessing to kind of get to where I want it. I really wish I would have left those half walls, to be honest, because I really liked how those were looking. And to be honest, I really think that if I had the half walls and then just that, it would have looked really good the way it is. But I fuss around with it a lot because I wasn't really sure exactly how I wanted it to look, to be honest. Like, I wasn't sure if I wanted it to be completely flat or if I wanted it to be like, have a nice, interesting roof. I really liked this roof though. I think this looks pretty good. It does require some, finessing with the platforms and stuff to kind of make it look right and everything, but I do like how it looks. But this is the final shape and the structure and all of that. Now we're just going to go through some color varieties. We're going to go through some decision making together here, because the decision making part, when it comes to me, is a lot. Also, really quickly, I nearly forgot. I used these paintings that I found on the Sims 4 gallery. I'll put in the description the username of the person who created this, because I actually forgot who it was. But yeah, really nice, simple lettering. Honestly, it took me a while to find it, but when I found it, I was like, that looks really nice. So I placed them down with walls, and then I replaced, I deleted the walls, and then then I just put some like a platform there to kind of fill it in. You can see the colors. You can see what I thought I was going for, but this does change pretty drastically later on. Wasn't a big fan, TBH. Not my vibe, TBH. I wasn't hating it, but I wasn't loving it. It didn't fit with the environment very well. The blue and the orange clashed. It stuck out really badly. Like, the orange wouldn't have been so bad, but the blue definitely, yeah, it just didn't fit here. Oasis Springs, for me, is very, it's desert. So yeah, you think desert, colorful, yeah, but this area specifically, it's not vibrant colors. It's more like clean whites contrasting against all of the rocks and the nature and the sand. And yeah, that's kind of it. So I just was like, you know what, I'm going to change it to that eventually. I go with just like some simple white with like a simple like kind of beige tan kind of just brick. Very painfully simple, but I actually really like it because the white that I used for the upper part of the building, it's a tile. It's a tile I normally use inside, not outside. I don't know if we're there yet. Maybe we're getting there. You can see the evolution, the process, the thoughts, the wheels are a turning, but then they go back and then they go back. I was like, maybe the blue and the white would be cute. But no, it didn't work. Blue just doesn't fit this area very well. Like there's blue with like the water that you can see in the distance there, but that's a very pale blue. It's a very clear, bright, light blue. This is like a deeper blue that doesn't really fit the vibe. And let me tell you, there's like little things in the base game that I wish we had. I wish we had a simpler column. Like, yeah, we have that traditional one, but I wish we just had like that one from Get Together. You know, those moments whenever they decided to add in just random objects from packs into the base game, you know, like that one bed, those certain hairs. Like there's just a few random bits and bobs that they've done before. Why won't they do that with that Get Together column? That would be so great. Just imagine the amazement I would feel. Like, oh my goodness, that it's such a small thing. It's so simple, but oh my gosh, talk about incredible. Talk about how perfect that would be. One thing I do regret about this build, and I can always change it since it is part of my save file, which is an ongoing project, which by the way, I have other base game only builds saved, like not saved, but here on my channel. If you want to go check those out, the playlist will be linked in the description as well as in the iCard or, you know, end screen, all of that good stuff. But one thing I wish I would have kept was the orange roofing. I actually really liked that kind of like that Spanish kind of styled roofing. I thought that looked really good here. I regret changing it, but it still looks good in the end. It took me a while to get to the point where I was like happy with the exterior. I honestly, like a couple times throughout this build, was ready to just kind of shelve it and just be like, yeah, I might try this again later on, but it's too much right now. I've realized I go through a thing that I don't know if this is the technical term for it. I don't know if people will understand what I'm talking about, but decision fatigue. Basically, it's like an ADHD thing for me, at least, where I will go through so many like versions of something, trying to figure out like a color for something or what I want something to look like. And I go through so many different variations and ideas that at the end, I'm more exhausted from just not even making the decision, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know. It's almost like a bad case of perfectionism. Like, I want to go through every single thing that I can imagine when it comes to an idea that I have, and I can't make a decision amongst all those whenever I do that. And so I'll keep cycling through and not making a decision. And then I, at the end, am tired and I just want to give up the whole project altogether. Like with this build, for example. I eventually pushed through though. I realized that one thing that does help with that is taking breaks, for sure. It's so weird. I never really understood the power of taking breaks to be more productive. I know that doesn't sound right at first, but you really should take more breaks whenever you're working on something, whether it's a project, whether it's, you know, your day job, whatever. You need to take a step away from it and clear your mind so that when you come back, you are more productive, you're more clear-headed, you're more thinking clearly. And, you know, I just said the same three things twice, but basically, yeah, you just got to clear your mind and kind of, you know, give it a little reset so that you can actually, like, you know, make a proper decision that is more thoughtful, that isn't so like, you know, because I don't know, you know what I mean, right? I hope you understand. Like, another example of it is we recently just got the Dragon Age The Veilguard, the 4th installment in the Dragon Age series, and I'm a big Dragon Age girly. Okay, I love Dragon Age, and I was trying to make my character and I was getting so indecisive about my character. I went through so many variations, and same with my Inquisitor, because you have to make your Inquisitor in that game too, which is wild. I'm like, what do you mean? You make your character and then it's like, oop, you can make your Inquisitor also. And I'm like, excuse me? So it took me a long time, but then it got to a point where I was so like exhausted from trying to make a decision with like hair and facial hair and face shape and all of that. It took so long that I accidentally clicked the wrong button and just reset everything. And so I lost all of my progress on my Inquisitor. And so I just kind of was like, okay, I'm just going to quit the game and take a break. I came back after a little bit and I was able to make my character and the Inquisitor with ease. And I don't know, I felt much better about it. Anyways, back to the speed build. This is basically what it looks like now. This is the build. This is it. It's not finished yet, obviously, but this is what it's supposed to look like. This is the vibe that I was going for, and I actually am really happy with this result. I do like the vibes. It kind of fits. It works with my style that I'm going for here in my base game only save file. And yeah, I like it. It's a little bit of a unique shape, like if you really look at it, but I like it. Ooh, maybe I do keep, okay, I'm actually not mad about this blue roofing. I'm glad I kept the Spanish style, but I went with a blue color instead, because I at least wanted to use some blue apparently, but I think the orange would have looked just as good also. This build was just before we got the life and death like patch and all of that good stuff, so I still had Better Build By, but thankfully by the time that you're watching this, Better Build By has been updated. So if y'all are a Better Build By mod user, go check out twistedmexi.com. It's linked in the description. You ain't got no excuse. Go. Let me tell you, Twisted Mexi, those mods are so incredible useful. Like right now, I'm about to use the tool mod to place down these cars in the parking lot, which I love that there's a little parking lot here on this lot. There's so many things you could do with this lot, and just just putting some cars here in this little parking lot side just adds to the realism even more. Like, I love it. I also found this random light. I don't know if I actually use it, but you see it in the catalog there. It's like this kind of rectangular, like vertical shaped light that goes on the wall. Never have I seen that before. I don't know when they added that into the game. I don't know if it was part of a pack, like one of those patches that we got with a pack or whatever. I don't know. It's kind of random, but I like it, I guess. It seems like it'd be useful. I was also just trying to go in and add some detailing with some of the items that you can get by looking into the debug kind of category. But of course, if you have the Better Build By mod, you can just find these items like sorted already in the catalog, so you don't have to like type in that cheat, which if you don't want to use mods, you can just type in bb.show hidden objects true and bb.show live edit objects true, and you'll be able to see all these different items if you search in the search bar there, 2 asterisks space debug, and you click just one of the options that comes up, and it'll bring up all of these items. It'll basically bring up every item that is in the catalog, but it'll also show like all of the hidden objects and the live edit objects, which if you don't know, the live edit objects are just objects that are throughout the Sims 4 like game, basically. It's cars, it is plants, it is random street signs, and shell of like building shells and stuff like that. Kind of anything that you see throughout the world that's sort of an object for decoration, and that's it. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but it's kind of weird to explain, especially, but they're incredibly useful for decorating because they usually don't cost anything. They are usually not going to take up any space in the sense that your Sims won't register them if, say, you place them in a certain spot that might cause routing issues. They don't, because they don't they just walk through them. So yeah, really handy. And this is when I am starting to do the actual decorating portion of the build. This is kind of the part of the build that took the least amount of time, but I do go through some ideas with this too. I get pretty indecisive. I was like, ooh, maybe each room could have like a different color scheme, you know, maybe I can do like, you know, pink and then orange and then blue and then, you know, all this, or maybe like one floor can be blue and the other floor can be orange, or, you know, XYZ. I do eventually just make the decision to just not do that and keep them all about the same. Yeah, I kept it all the same color scheme except for the one room that is more of a quote unquote permanent resident that lives there. I do kind of, add a nice, like, you know, more lived in vibe in there, but I still kind of kept it kind of simple. But yeah, you can see here, I'm, you know, starting to get the idea. I'm like, oh, I really liked the teals here. I was like really gravitating towards this, you know, kind of color scheme. And I was like, you know, this fits really nicely. It's very refreshing. It's still got that kind of, you know, like sort of mid-century modern-ish kind of, you know, motel kind of vibe, you know, and, you know, hotels kind of have like weird color schemes anyways too. So I was like, you know what, this kind of works. I'm not mad about it. It's refreshing. It doesn't look dark and like creepy and sad. It's kind of bright and fun, and I thought that would be kind of nice. I do tone it down just a bit though, just because, you know, with me, I usually will go a little bit too crazy with colors, and then I'll just kind of dial it back a little bit. But it's still fun to do that because you experiment, you get to see the different swatches of items together and like everything. It's really cool. I fuss around with this though so much, just because I wanted the layout to be, you know, pretty usable and still look nice and aesthetically pleasing. And I used some linoleum here to just break up the rooms a bit because I wanted there to be like a kitchen zone and then like a sleeping zone, because, you know, at least in the hotel rooms that I've been in, they are pretty separate. I remember there was one I stayed in that when you stepped into the front door, it was like a little wardrobe area where the bathroom was across from it, and then you just made a few steps and there was like a quote unquote kitchen area where there was like, you know, cupboards and like a little, you know, microwave, like all of the usual stuff, and then you kind of just keep going, and then it just had like the sleeping area, which I was like, that's kind of nice. It keeps it all separate, and, you know, all the energies are, you know, separate, so that, you know, you don't have like the chaotic energy of a kitchen space or a food space, you know, combined with the relaxation space, if that makes sense. And here I am trying to apply, you know, real life, I guess, ergonomics and feng shui, if you want to go that far, with the Sims, I guess. I don't know. I just have that thought process. But yeah, this is essentially the layout and everything. I do make a few more changes, I think, purely with like the bedspreads. I wasn't liking how matchy everything was, and or maybe I do change it up a bit. Maybe I add some I add some of that kind of sagey green color to kind of, you know, just add some variety. But yeah, it's one of those slow process things, which I've learned the hard way when it comes to that, because I think sometimes in my brain, because I have ADHD, this is the real deal. When you have ADHD, you tend to think that you have to come up with an idea immediately, because your understanding of time and everything is just, it's very skewed. It's weird. It's called time blindness, and your brain just doesn't know how to process time, because it feels like it's taking you an eternity to do something that actually is taking you like 2 minutes, or vice versa. Something that usually would take you 2 minutes can take you up to an hour. It's so strange. It's so weird, but gotta love our silly little brains sometimes. But yeah, I'm just decorating these bathrooms. I do eventually, I think, just copy and paste these bathrooms again to keep them all pretty much the exact same. That's a really good tool to use in this game, is where you can select a room and then click the copy button, and then you can just make a copy of it. So if you're building something like a motel, you can just copy and paste stuff, so you don't have to like rebuild it several times over and over. And I think that little cut was me copy and pasting some more things. I'm not sure. No, I was actually experimenting with like a different color scheme for this room here. I don't keep this. Like I said, I was not liking it. I was like, pink is not relaxing to me. I don't like it. I think the blues and the greens and the teals, they're way more relaxing and calming. This ain't it. Yeah. Pink, just, I don't hate pink, but I just don't think we have any good shades of pink in this game. That was what I wanted. But then I saw this bedspread and I was like, you know what? I think I want to make all the beds this bedspread. I think it looks really nice and relaxing, and I just feel like it fits the vibes a little bit better. It adds some contrast and it keeps it from being all like two-toned, because I felt like at this point it was looking very like white and teal, and that was it. There was no variety in color, and so I decided to swap out some things, change up the bedspread, and I made the chairs mismatched a little bit, and yeah, really liked the result. It looked really cute, and yeah, it just freshened up the rooms a bit, because like I said, if it's, you know, just two-toned, it just kind of looks a little bit boring and a little bit flat. Ooh, another thing that I do want to bring up is that if you have the tool mod in your game and you have the Better Build Buy mod, you kind of need both of these for this function to work. You're able to use the tool mod in build mode if you have the Better Build Buy mod installed. Also, with the tool mod, you can shift click a light and change the color of the light, in the sense that the literal light, not the physical, but the light itself that it's emitting, you can change that color. And it's so stinking useful. It transforms a space instantly. I kept them all kind of just like the neutral, kind of slightly, not cool toned lighting, but just like the neutral daylight, because I felt like that would, you know, make the most sense for like a building like this. It just looked a little bit better. But also, you know, say you're building like a spooky house, changing the colors of the lighting to like greens and blues and purples would look really cute. Or maybe you want to make like a romantic kind of, you know, room, wink wink, in a motel room. You could change it all to red or pink, or, you know, a variety of different colors. Honestly, just using it for like your own like Sims houses as well is a really good way to add some personality and style. You can like, I do it all the time for my builds anymore, at least when I'm playing with them. I change the lights of my, like for example, for Cassandra Goth, I made her bedroom, I did a lot of like purples and pinks and stuff, just to kind of set herself apart from, you know, all of the red and black of the rest of the Goth household, because, you know, she wants to be a little different. Oh, and here is this space up here as well. This is the permanent, you know, semi-permanent resident, so I made it a little bit more homey here. So the storyline that I came up with is that it's a single dad, and I think his two kids are staying here temporarily. I don't know. I can't remember exactly what I wrote in the description on the gallery, but I did write a description there. But yeah, I just imagine that he's staying here temporarily to, you know, just to kind of get back on his feet, because he's got two kids. Maybe his, you know, partner, you know, left, or maybe, you know, XYZ, something happened to where they are no longer in, you know, each other's lives. And so, you know, he took the role of the children and taking care of them, but maybe he ended up in a rough spot, so he had to stay here instead because of, you know, money and finances and all that stuff. So yeah, I feel like this would be a really fun way to play the game, and just have them stay here for a little bit until they could get back on their feet and save up enough money so where they can, you know, get a new place or something like that. I just add a lot of, you know, just like clutter throughout the room to make it look a little bit more lived in, because you can still see it kind of is, you know, similar to the other rooms, but yeah, I just make sure to go through and just add decor and clutter to where it looks like they've been there, you know, for, you know, X amount of days, weeks, or even months. You know, it was kind of a challenge because I wanted to fit in like this little crib kind of thing. I didn't know where to put it. I eventually get rid of the TV because I was like, you know, there is a TV in other rooms, but not this one. You know, we'll just take it out of here. But yeah, I really like this little room. I like the personality. It took me a little bit of time But yeah, maybe this was a room that was specifically like maybe for the owner of the hotel, and maybe they didn't need it anymore. Maybe it just sat empty because it was too small and nobody really wanted to rent it out. So eventually they were like, yeah, you know, you can stay in that for a little bit if you want. And, you know, maybe the storyline is eventually they take over the motel, or they work with them, or, you know, XYZ. Maybe, who knows? There could be so many storylines that you could come up with just using this lot. But yeah, if you want to download this motel, you can find it on the Sims 4 gallery under my username, Lucca Owens. It is LuccaOwens, as well as the hashtag Lucca. I just want to say a big thanks to all of y'all for, you know, of course, getting to this part of the video. It's very nice of you to watch the whole thing. But also, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's been using my creator code lately. I really appreciate it. I won't talk too much about it because I didn't speak about it in the beginning of the video, but yeah, just thank you for using that, for liking the videos, for watching, for leaving lovely, lovely comments. I'll be honest, at the time of recording this, I am kind of going through some personal life stuff. Nothing crazy, nothing like, you know, insane or anything like that, but just, you know, some, you know, normal life experiences that we all have to unfortunately go through from time to time. So I'm just kind of dealing with that, and yeah, videos are going to be a little bit weird for a little bit until I kind of get things sorted again. But I just want to say thank you all for, you know, just being so amazing, so wonderful. Like, I genuinely could not do this without you. But yeah, that is honestly pretty much it. Just check out the links in the description for I've got some links to my lighting mod, my, you know, the Twisted Mexies mods, of course, as well as for the paintings. If I do not leave that in the description, please someone comment to remind me. Please, because you know how I am. I hit end on this recording. I go to edit the recording, and by the time I export the video, get it uploaded, that process is out of my brain. I don't remember at all. But yeah, if you got to this part of the video, just let me know. I don't know. Let me know if you are a Dragon Age fan or a Schitt's Creek fan. Who's your favorite characters of either, you know, universe, whatever. But yeah, if you got to this as well, just be sure to hit the like button, as well as subscribe if you are new. And yeah, that is everything. Thank you all so very much for watching. Stay weird, and I'll speak to y'all next time. Bye, y'all.